Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I have with me Chief Murray, Lake Charles Fire Department, Fire Prevention Chief T.A. Jones, Detective Franklin Fondell, the lead investigator in this, Captain Al Moore, Head of Investigations, Lake Charles Police Department. On January 9th, a little after 5 a.m., a call was received at the 911, and the fire department was dispatched to Millennium Park, where the park was engulfed in flames. As a result of this investigation, it was determined that arson was involved, and lead investigators were assigned Detective Franklin Fondell with the Lake Charles Police Department, Fire Prevention Chief T.A. Jones. After a lengthy investigation, in which a name was brought forth from several calls from Crimestoppers, and as a result of the investigation, a suspect was developed. On January 21st, a warrant was obtained, and Seth Arceneaux, age 17, was arrested and charged with a single count of simple arson, and bond was set at $60,000 by Judge Ron Ware. The subject was incarcerated at the Calcasieu Correctional Center. Estimated damages of the park were $190,000, almost $200,000. A couple things I would like to say. This investigation is continuing. We anticipate there will be at least one more arrest in this investigation. For those in the listening audience, if you were there that night and you saw what happened, you need to come forward. You need to come forward now as a witness, because if we have to run you down, you're going to be a subject. Very important, very important. Crimestoppers tip code 2011R020. Will you please call Detective Franklin Fondell at 302-8207. Tip code 2011-R-020. Please call Detective Franklin Fondell at 302-8207. At this time, I would like Chief Murray of the Lake Charles Fire Department to address you.
Since January 9th, the public outcry for answers to Millennium Park being destroyed was really heavy on our shoulders. And the public was making it clear that they wanted answers. And I was very, very relieved that we started receiving results to this. I would like to thank Chief Dixon and his men for working so well with our department. I would also like to thank Fire Prevention Chief T.A. Jones for coordinating the investigation between our department and the police department. And I would also like to thank the State Fire Marshal's Office for basically the expertise that they bring to the table every time they work with us. Other than that, I would like also to basically, it's like bringing closure. I hope that we're able to continue and close this case. This is the most pressure that I think that our department has felt in quite a few years over something that was so obvious, day, morning, noon, and night on the news, that people wanted these answers, and I'm very, very glad that it's finally happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah, in my 9 years as Chief, I've seen a lot of things in this tenure, but I've never seen an outcry of the public like this particular event. Mayor Randy Roach is here and would like to address the media. Here.
Thank you very much, and I want to echo what Chief Murray and both Chief Dixon have said. I appreciate very much the work of the State Fire Marshal's Office in conjunction with the Fire Department and the Police Department. We have a very professional group of men and women who work in our department. We're very fortunate to have them working for us. I think it's obvious when you take into account the fact that there was very little information. Obviously, this happened late at night, in the middle of the night, and there was very little evidence. All the evidence dealing with a fire is very difficult to sort through. The help of the State Fire Marshal's Office, with our Fire Prevention Bureau, with their investigative techniques that they have, to have them bring us to this point this quickly, I think speaks well for the professionalism, again, of the Police Department, Fire Department, State Fire Marshal's Office, all working together to solve this problem. We'll have to see how this goes forward in terms of an investigation, in terms of what happens in the courts, and we all understand that the American system of justice has a certain presumption of innocence, and we have to just let the courts deal with the situation from this point forward. Specifically, what I'd like to address is where do we go from here? And we've made it very clear that what we want to do is we want to rebuild Millennium Park bigger and better. One of the things that has really been apparent to me in the few days that we have been working on this issue is just how personal that park was to the children of our community and to the young adults in our community who were raised going to that park, who have fond memories of that park. And I think it illustrates just how valuable this park is to our community, and we recognize that. So our commitment is to rebuild that park bigger and better than ever. And I've got some ideas that we're going to hopefully be able to bring to the City Council tomorrow evening. We're meeting this afternoon with Randy Goodlow, who is the local architect working on our Board Lake Park project. We're also going to be meeting tomorrow afternoon via internet with Leathers and Associates, who is the design team that designed this park, who designed Adventure Cove. They'll be guiding us through the rebuild process in hopes of being able to come up with a master plan for this project within the relatively near future. And the idea, hopefully, being to be able to get under construction, if possible, by this summer. If not right at the beginning of the summer, perhaps midway through the summer, so we can have the park back in shape sometime this fall. But anyway, that's our goal, that's our objective. Again, I want to thank the gentlemen that you see here and the departments that they represent. And I want to thank the community. I want to thank the community for the interest and the care and the concern that you have shown. And I want to ensure all those young children who may be listening to what we're saying here this afternoon, that our interest is youth. We're concerned about the future, we're concerned about safety, we're concerned about security. And again, the new park is going to be something that the children will enjoy and the parents will be proud of, and the whole community will be supportive of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to reiterate the fact that this is an ongoing investigation. If you were there that night and we have not talked to you, you need to come forward as a witness. We do have criminal offenses, including accessory after the fact, that we could pursue if you don't. Okay. If you were not there that night, however, you know somebody who was there and that have confided in you, then you need to call us and we need to talk to you. And you need to come forward with that information. And you can do it through Crimestoppers and do it anonymously, but we need to know the names of those people who said they were involved. Again, I want to reiterate the tip code 2011-R-020. Please call Detective Fondell at 302-8207. 302-8207. I will entertain questions at this time. However, realize this is a pending investigation. We possibly have more arrests pending, so I'll have to be very selective in my answers.
Has there been any evidence linking Mr. Seth Arceneaux to the crime?
Can't comment on that.
You said y'all anticipate more arrests. Do you have a suspect or a name that you'd like to release, maybe get the public?
Cannot give a name at this time.
What led you to Seth Arceneaux?
Several things, including some Crimestoppers tips.
I know that you guys had said that y'all were looking at surveillance video. Did that yield any?
Can't comment on any specific.
What about the test results? I know that some tests have been run. Did we find out anything from that, and did that help with the investigation?
I didn't hear.
The State Fire Marshal's Office had sent a dog and...
State Fire Marshals, result of it. Anything to do with State Fire Marshal, how were they helpful in this investigation, State Fire?
State Fire Marshal, that's advanced training in fire investigation, and they also they bring their dog in to be able to sniff for accelerants and such like that. So they typically bring to the table tools that we don't have, and also a fresh outlook with some advanced training.
Well, I know that some substances were sent off for testing. Do we have the results of those tests to know what chemicals were out there?
I wanted to know if they've got any results of testing, chemical testing.
The test result was inconclusive. Didn't mean there was not anything there. It just mean that it couldn't pinpoint any type of item.
All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
Has Seth Arceneaux, has he admitted to anything? Has he been cooperative?
No, we can't comment on that.
Has he been cooperative?
Can't comment on that.
Chief, I would guess that the $11,000 reward helped a lot in starting to get tips in. Is that when y'all started noticing more tips whenever y'all released the information about the additional?
I wouldn't say that. I would say we started receiving information pretty quickly. I think that the public outcry over this is probably almost equals Hurricane Rita, for that matter, as to the public interest in this, and which is amazing. And when it affects all our children, obviously there's going to be some type of outcry and response. And we appreciate those who call in. And hopefully we'll continue to receive calls from people who have that information or who were there.
Any changes in security to the future park or other parks?
We don't have a specific on that. I'll have the mayor address that issue, but I think there will be.
We have been getting different reports relative to the options that we have available to us, and right now, really not in a position to say what those measures would be, but we recognize the need for additional security, and that will be a part of any plan that we present as far as the rebuilding of the park will include that. We're also looking at actually an expansion of the park and that park area, looking at security cameras and that type of thing. But the chief and I have talked about a couple of options that we have. We're in the process of trying to evaluate those options, but that'll be part of the new plan that we present to the council.
Mayor, the timing of this is pretty bad as far as our plans to do development at the Lakeville Civic Center. How much of an effect do you think that crime is going to have on drawing new businesses out there?
Well, I don't think that the destruction of the park will keep us from doing commercial development. What it's obviously going to do is going to force us to rethink how we do the amphitheater project. That was a project that was under consideration by the council. The council had deferred action. We were ready to take action on that project, but then when this happened, I think we agreed that it's in the best interest of the community to take a step back and see what we could do to take some of the budget that we have for that project and see how we could fit this within that budget, which is it's almost like dominoes. You start changing one thing here and you end up changing everything over here. So it's going to force us to rethink the whole project, but we don't want it to take too much time to get us to a point where we can come back to the council with a recommendation for a comprehensive, not only rebuilding of the Millennium Park itself, but also of the entire area.
All right, appreciate you coming today. Have a nice day.
I will have photographs that I will email out to everyone of our defendant, and give you a little press briefing with it, so to supplement maybe something that you didn't get. I got it.